In any case, we're going to start with a druid. Let's see how Hearth Arena 2.0 works. So we've had this in our live server for a little bit, but we've done like a lot of changes just even like the last couple days. So hopefully there are no major bugs because we've been testing a lot, and this will give a better, smoother kind of results where we've gotten rid of a lot of kind of the jagginess, and we've added a lot of synergies for stat distributions. Let's see. Sledge Belcher, Argent Commander. We pick Argent Commander. First pick. Okay, that's not terribly. God, it's so weird to see these values so low. I know I lowered them. Like, me and Merps got together and we were like, we need to lower the top end because it's just not justified that it's so much better than these other cards. But still, feels weird. I'm gonna be sad when I see my first Yeti at like 78. Okay, still going with a 4-drop. That makes sense. Hey Collins, what's up? Silverback Patriarch, Moonfire, Frost Elemental. Yup. Huh. Did we move up Moonfire? I guess we did move up Moonfire to a 40. Okay, let's go with the Frost Elemental. I remember Moonfire was like really good in the stats, and I kept trying to move it up even higher, and Merps was like, no, we can't move Moonfire up that much. But it turns out it would really help people. Like, we're talking like better than a 2-3, better than a 3-2, kind of helping people. Probably better than like a Force Tank Max. Swipe, it's always good to see. Yeah, so Shang's going to take at least half an hour to get here. Meanwhile, I'm fooling around with Hearth Arena 2.0, trying to see what the draft is going to do. Earthen Ring over Argent Squire, our new ranked 40 Argent Squire. Argent Squire, by the way, one of the best cards in the game. Just throughout, for pretty much any class. So if you trust in the stats more than you trust in our adjustments, you should be picking Argent Squire like anytime it comes up. Better than a Yeti, better than a piloted Shredder. That's the Argent Squire. We don't feel that strongly that Argent Squire is that good because we've used him and hasn't really been a game changer for us, so we don't have him that high. But depends on what your philosophy is. Amani, this is right. Definitely the Amani. We'll have a 2-drop. Very good. Hey, Murky Murloc. Ogre Brute. I like that Ogre Brute was kind of exactly where we had him, because we moved him around like quite a bit. Not like a lot, but we were adjusting him. Like any card that we'd been adjusting for like the past couple months, like back and forth, tweaking a little, like Tigers and things like that, they all kind of were within a 2-point adjustment of the stats, which was really nice to see. And some of the cards we haven't touched in a while did not were moved a lot, and other cards like freaking War Golem, we're probably going to move it up in the next adjustment. Its rankings, like its statistical ranking, is a little too good for where we have it, even though I still don't like that card. I mean, it is a big thing. Mark of the Wild over an Oasis, that looks right. Cogmaster, also insanely good card. It's like, it's so random what 1-drops are considered really good and what 1-drops are just like, 30 points, 28 points, kind of good. Yeti, poor Yeti. At least it's high enough for us to pick it. Shakunin says, Adwikta, when you say better than a Yeti, how do you define better? I define statistically better, as in it gives you more wins on average. So almost any card is going to have a higher variance than a Yeti. You give a Yeti's very low variance, but on average you'll win more games. And that's across like whether you're an infinite player or a regular player or like, somewhere in the middle. Graphics 420 says, Advicta, I was wondering, you have no way of knowing if those Moonfires are actually getting played. How do you account for this? Well, if you're drafting it and you're able to win, and Moonfire is just the magical like good luck charm that makes every deck perform well even though no one ever plays it, sure, that's a statistical anomaly, and we have so much sample size that's just, it's not a statistical concern, right? Like if you do statistics, you know that that's not a major concern. And our sample size is actually, it was kind of amazing to me what sample size we had. I didn't, I don't know that much about Hearth Arena numbers. I know like traffic wise we're doing very well, but just in terms of number of runs in January and February, basically, we had 3 times. Well, we had more than that actually, because we only took like a quarter, so we had 12 times what Arena Mastery had pulled in from March to September in our last 2 months. 4 times. So if that was 9 months, that was 2 months. So that's like 16 times. More than that, like 17. I don't know, I suck at math. But that's like a huge factor of magnitude in terms of what people were using. So we're doing quite well actually, I guess, in terms of people using us and like doing runs with us. And another statistic, almost half the people who have ever logged a single run on Hearth Arena have logged more than 10. So people are not just using us, but most people are staying. At least, they test it out for a significant amount of times before they leave. Okay, Target Dummy, Angry Chicken. Oh, Angry Chicken is one of the best cards. This is whereas what's the other card? Murloc Oracle is one of the worst cards. No idea why. But these are very small sample size things that we just don't take into consideration. Okay, so we have an Amani, a Mark of the Wild, which goes with the Amani. We're going to have a Mana White Wraith. It's just much better than the other 2 crappy cards. All right, let me look at chat again. If Biff says, Adukta, how much begging, convincing non-sexual favors would it take to potentially get a peek at some of those statistics? Oh, it would take... There is no amount of sexual favors that you can possibly give us. So I don't know about the programmer, because he actually has access to it. But at least me, and I don't know about Merz, speaking for myself, I will not be swayed by sexual favors. But those stats... I think if not those stats, like some stats in the future that encompasses more things will probably be released. I don't really have any control over that. The format that we got them in is definitely not a format we'd want to release them out in. It's like it took some time to like work through and everything. But I'm sure sometime in the future we're going to release some kind of stats. I think we need to get it in a good enough form to like be publishable first though. Not a Gurubashi. Good. Tall Strider, despite lowering it, is still beating out a Gurubashi. It's going to be a very normal deck. Shakuna says, Adaruta, so if I'm understanding correctly, a hypothetical example, across all runs recorded in Hearth Arena, the average deck goes 4 wins, but a deck with 1 Argent Squire averages 4.2 wins, while a deck with 1 Shogun Yeti averages 4.1 wins, so Squire is better than Yeti. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's the kind of statistics we were using, except the actual difference is bigger than that for the Argent Squire, and lower than that for the Shogun Yeti. It's a big difference. Argent Squire is a lot better than Shogun Yeti. No, not a Booty Bay. Oh, Booty Bay is also not the most awful thing in the world, apparently. We didn't raise it, because it's a Booty Bay. I'm not raising it, but it's probably supposed to be like 10 points higher. Reckless, Frost Elemental. Yeah, still taking the Frost Elemental. We're getting a little high on the mana curve, but the other 2 cards suck too much. The new Clockwork Gnome. Hey, thanks for subbing. Battle Ooze 2 months in a row. And I have lowered the volume. I heard you guys. I have lowered the volume on this thing, but I didn't know how to lower the actual volume of the sound file. So the only thing that I lowered was how loud my OBS is. So when Shang comes up, I'm going to get him to lower his OBS too, or else it's going to be the same loud volume. So yeah, thanks for subbing. Ancient Brewmaster, Clockwork Gnome, Druid of the Fang. Ooh, these are very close. It's still telling me to take Ancient Brewmaster, which is interesting because we lowered this a lot. We have a Lost Tall Strider and an Earthen Ring Farseer. Oh, that's to heal it. It's interesting. So healing is now very sophisticated as well because it knows exactly how much defense you're including all the buffs and everything. So like Druid of the Fang makes a difference. I'm gonna go with the Clockwork Gnome. Let's see where it goes. I just don't want to take a Ancient Brewmaster. This is close enough that Hearth Arena is not really making that big of a move. Starfire, obvious pick. Starfire, we moved up a lot. It's just actually, like, statistically, it's kind of ridiculous how good that card is. I think we were very wrong on that card. And looking back, I have done very well with my decks with Starfire. It's also 5 damage of reach. I think that becomes like a serious consideration at a certain point. Trog, very good. Shakuna says Merps referred him to me. Yeah. Merps and I were doing this together, but Imp Master, this is gonna be good. We're curving out very nicely with this deck. This is probably going to be the most normal deck I've drafted in quite some time. Azure Drake, Keeper of the Grove, Nerubian Egg. I think it's definitely Azure Drake. So you see that Hearth Arena was, I don't know if you guys saw that, was like a 95. It's still buffing the Azure Drake by a lot because we have a swipe and because we need 5 mana, like 5 drops. So even though we have moved Azure Drake down a bit, and some people were like, but Azure Drake is really good, it still gets moved up. Like, it depends on what kind of cards you have. Astrevek says, do you evaluate these statistics based on whether your users take your suggestions? So for instance, no. We don't care if the user takes our suggestions. If you take our suggestions and you're like wrong and you perform poorly, we're not gonna, we're not gonna change it based on that. We want to see what's actually helping people, and we want to see what makes sense of why it's helping people, and we want to evaluate why it's helping people. Like, there's a reason we didn't move everything up based on the statistics. We could have just done this based on stats, and you'll get this like huge synergy deck that tries to synergize with everything and will fail to synergize with anything, and it'll suck, and you'll be like, Hearth Arena, you're awful. But that's why we need a human to kind of evaluate all that stuff. Another Mark of the Wild. So Mark of the Wild is really good. Do we really want 2 Mark of the Wilds? One of the problem is a lot of these cards may be good to have like one-ofs, but when you start having multiples of these, or like multiples of similar cards, it's very hard for us to, like, there's something called the situationalness of a card, right? One's a drop, one's a reaction, and one's we play this sometimes depending on the situation. So the more of the super situational cards you have, the more you kind of have to watch out of not just getting a hand that you can't play. And that's definitely what Mark of the Wild is. And we already have one, but I guess we don't really have a lot of other situational cards, right? These are all pretty good to just like throw out there. So we can use a situational card in Mark of the Wild. I'm okay with that over like a Bluegill Warrior, which is rated the same tier list wise. Shengster just got home. All right, well, Shang, you can set up. I'm going to finish this draft and probably like play a game or two before I switch it over to you, and Colonel. So you guys are going to get to see 2 drafts in the new Hearth Arena. Okay, Druid of the Claw, easy pick. I keep wanting this Moonfire higher. Oh, Battle Ooze, poor Battle Ooze. You subbed for 2 months in a row, and yet we moved your precious Ooze down. If it matters, we moved the other Ooze up. So one of the Oozes got moved up. But Acetic Swamp Ooze just really wasn't performing. Like, we should have moved it down a lot more than we did. We just didn't feel comfortable like boosting such like a favorite down so much. Just holding that 2 doesn't matter as much, and there are less big weapons now than there used to be. So you may still get value out of your Ooze, but what's the value of taking out like a 2-1 weapon or like a 3-1 weapon? It's more value than you get with a lot of other 2 drops, but that's if you like have held it in your hand already. So it's not quite as good as it was previously, and you never see warriors anymore, so that also hurts. And what do you call those? The rogue assassin's blade you rarely see anymore. So like the meta has kind of changed in a way where weapons are more plentiful, but they're less impactful in terms of just removing one. And also a lot of times people now have way more weapons. Just rogues, like for example, and warriors just end up with more weapons than they can possibly use with the more aggressive meta. So by getting rid of one of their weapons, you do get rid of the tempo, but you don't get rid of the card advantage as much as you used to be able to. So I think a lot of factors are working against Acetic Swamp Ooze. But here, Bomb Lobber definitely over a Matter Bomber. YOLO San says, Adadukta, do you get some deck archetype stats, and are there better archetypes on average? There are better archetypes on average. It is a very noticeable difference, and certain classes do better with certain archetypes than others. But I don't have the exact stats with me, and we're not doing an evaluation on that until after the shadow archetypes are out, just so we can evaluate how good our shadow archetypes kind of fits the old data. So as of now, though, control decks do better than aggro decks, which is probably also because control decks generally have better cards. So it's not all because control is so much better than aggro. But generally, like tempo decks do just totally fine, and is one of the better ones. And most decks are tempo decks, so it's when you get the mid-range deck that you're like, ugh. And mid-range typically just means your deck can't do much, which is a function of the cards you get, not so much where Hearth Arena is pushing you. Okay, so we have our 2-drops. Oasis, Shield Bearer, Micro Machine. Let's go with another Micro Machine. Have our 2 set up. Our 3s are good. Our 4s are... We could use another 4, but it's generally good. Starfire. Oh, Frostwolf Grunt. This had like the most amazingly ridiculous stats. You're probably going to hear a lot of crosstalk on this if Merps either joins me Saturday or on the Arena Coop. But we have some fun, like, random stat stories. I shared the Leviathan one with Flame Leviathan one with you guys on Reddit. And, like, some guy, I forget his name, but he posted a very good explanation of why Flame Leviathan is so much better than a War Golem, which is that it triggers on your turn, so your opponent gets damaged. And even more than that, very rarely will a card you actually care about, like a damaged minion, like a 4-2 or a 5-2, stay alive when it comes back to your turn. Your opponent's removing that thing. Like, you may end up with it at the end of your turn, but by the next turn it's gone. So you're only killing very small minions, that stragglers that you may have left, or you're damaging your minions, which you'll just trade into his minions. So that's a very good point, and I think we're definitely going to be moving Flame Leviathan up significantly compared to War Golem. It's just something we never considered, and I never used the card. You also see that we follow the stats more closely when it comes to legendaries than we do when it comes to like commons, because we have more of a handle and more experience saying like, no, this card is really just good, or this is why I like this card. Whereas for legendaries, a lot of it is hypothetical. Like, I haven't used every legendary, and the ones I have used, besides the big ones, are generally just like twice, maybe 3 times. So very small sample sizes for us, whereas Hearth Arena would have a much larger sample size. People are it's Leviathan. Okay, fine. Pronunciation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be our 6/2 drop. Well, that's better than an Antique Keelbot. I do need some big cards though. We have like kind of a more aggro deck than I think now. It's not aggro enough for Naturalize though. Yeah, especially with this Claw coming in. How many big cards do we actually have? 2 Frost Elementals, Archer Commander, kind of a removal, 1 Druid of the Claw, 1 Twilight Drake. Okay, yeah, it's definitely the Force Tank Max. That came at a very good time. Although for a Druid, Force Tank Max is not all that great, but still better than these other ones. I want my Iron Bark. Where's my Iron Bark? Nope. A 3rd Mark of the Wild? Probably a Loot Hoarder. Huh. Kind of an even split between Claw and Loot Hoarder. Normally this would be a toss-up. So Claw does not really have synergy with the deck. No, it doesn't. This deck does not need a Claw. On top of that, we need a card to play early game. Do we? Why the hell would we need a card to play early game? Is it just the Mark of the Wild? Because we have 2 of them, we need buff targets? That's probably why. Okay, I'll go with the Loot Hoarder. Although this sentence doesn't make much sense. Yeah, we'll be updating the advisor in like the coming week. Wrath, best card. It's all small cards, huh? This deck just got a lot more aggro than I kind of wanted it to. Nerubar. I don't think Nerubar will be that good. Fairy Dragon, Cult Master. Okay, yeah, Nerubar's bad. Fairy Dragon's fine, but Cult Master is definitely the way to go. This is good. Cold Light Oracle, Gadgetzan, Cold Light Seer. Oh god, this is awful. I don't think we have enough spells for Gadgetzan, but these other cards are like not even cards. You should see just how bad Cold Light Oracle and especially Cold Light Seer is. Cold Light Seer is probably like one of the bottom 5 cards in the game. Could be also from like people actually like drafting it when they want to go for Murloc synergies, and then Murloc synergies almost never work. What do I have? I have a Clockwork Gnome, a Claw, a Rat, 2 Mark of the Wilds, a Swipe, 2 Starfires. I guess we could potentially get a synergy with Gadgetzan, and at the very least it's a big card. Cold Light Oracle will draw our opponent cards. Well, we have 2 Starfires, right? Do we have 2 Starfires? We do have 2 Starfires. Okay. So we do have some kind of card advantage. We're kind of more like aggro control-ish without that much removal. It's Cold Light Oracle's not that aggro control. What do you guys think? Carlos Leandro says, Adocto, what's your internal valuation of Hearth Arena? I don't know. I'm only 20% of Hearth Arena finance-wise. So whatever Hearth Arena is worth, my share is worth a very small portion of that. And we're not like looking to sell it or anything like that. You can get a valuation online. I think I evaluated it online based on its traffic like a couple weeks ago, and it was like some ridiculous number that I'm like, there's no way Hearth Arena is worth that much. And if it is worth that much, why are we not actually earning money from it? You know, we have ads. Cold Light Oracle, Gadgetzan. I guess we'll go with Hearth Arena on this and see. I'm actually kind of tempted to pick Cold Light Oracle because we only have 3 3-mana cards. So if we're forced to play like a 2-mana card, that's kind of like a Cold Light Oracle. And this lets us draw more cards, which I'm not sure what that would do. We don't really have any cards we need to draw into. So we don't have that consideration. It'll just be like a lot. I mean, you know, we have 1, 2, 3. We have a Cult Master. We have a ton of card draw. So I think we're good on like having cards. Well, then again, Gadgetzan is also a draw. So this is just a no-win. At least Gadgetzan doesn't draw for the opponent. Let's go with the Gadgetzan. All right, we are a bad mid-range druid. Wonderful. Here's the Hearth Arena. We are a bad mid-range druid. This is like the worst thing you want to see. And it doesn't quite curve out because we only have 3 3-drops. Although we have enough 2-drops to kind of make it fit. A Mark of the Wild is functional as a 3-drop. Let's see where we go. I threw the link into the chat if you guys want to see the Hearth Arena link. And just so you guys know, there's a lot of updates coming in the next 2 weeks with the website and like stat tracking and things like that. So you'll see like just a lot of improvements. We're finally over our kind of like slowdown in what you guys could see that Hearth Arena was doing. But now we're going to be doing more and more stuff that you guys will actually be able to like use and see, and it'll improve your lives.
Let the hunt begin. I must protect the wild.
Alright. Trog. We could coin out the Trog and then play the Mana Ray. Oh no, we don't have a coin. Yeah, let's not play this Mana Rave ever. We have no real 3-drops either, but whatever. It'll do. I don't want to keep a Twilight Drake. And turn and Trog, Micro Machine. Psh, Juma J. Getting away from your computer doesn't improve lives. Where are you getting that from? We'll go with a Trog. He wants to coin something out. So if he coins something out, this Trog will get ridiculous value. The best he could probably do right now is to play, well, I guess that kind of works. No, you should not do that. I mean, please do it, but you shouldn't. Yeah, that was the right move. Now it'll take me forever to clear this, while he can start getting some damage on it. But that's fine. If I Micro Machine, the Micro Machine would die. And it's not like I have a play the next turn anyway. So I'm just going to Clockwork Gnome and then use my hero power.
I am ready.
Like if I played the Micro Machine, he was going to trade whatever 2 I didn't kill onto it. This way I get card advantage I don't really need. Do I need some, I guess this deck is kind of aggro. It's like a card draw, small mana curve thing. Oh god, here's the call pet. That's not the most awful thing in the world. Although it kind of is if you're buffing my Trog. Judging by the cards this guy's had so far, I'm pretty sure he doesn't use Hearth Arena. Oh, also, I guess I should snip the deck list. I'm not going to snip the deck list. I'm going to take off the browser, though. We're only going to be playing like 2 games, and then we're going to get Sheng on, and you guys can see another draft. Meanwhile, Sheng, if you're watching this, get ready. Oh, he Glavzuka'd me, didn't he? He Glavzuka'd me. That's cool. We'll give him more Glavzuka targets, I guess. What am I playing around, possibly? I guess nothing. Okay, it's time to get some face damage on him. He's slowed down a lot to do that. And we have a very wide board, which is nice. Even though he has Unleash, it's still nice to... Oh, I guess he doesn't have Unleash. Gozrilla incoming. That would be okay if I have a board when Gozrilla comes. So the Druid has one of the best matchups against the Hunter, I think, because you can prevent the Hunter from like actually being a Hunter by using your hero power. Yeah, the Hunter can still get like 1 damage per turn, but that's not what the Hunter needs, right? The Hunter builds his deck on being able to get 2 damage of reach every turn with 2 mana. So you totally screw with what he wants to do. And you also have a crap ton of taunts. It's a very good matchup. And you can ping and he can't. Like, everything's just in your favor.
I wonder. Oh, the Lich King!
He should remove the 2/1. Yes. Kind of sucks. I want to Starfire that, but I guess I can't. So, gonna have to Frost Elemental it. Armor Plating. If I trust the Ogre to hit something. Do I trust the Ogre to hit? Well, if I Armor Plating, I can't play much else. So, I guess I don't have much of a choice. I am going to attack with this Ogre, even if it kills it. Okay. This is all fine. I don't care enough about this thing. I'm going to go for face. I could trade, but that loses my guy too. So it's not like I'm actually going to get another attack the next turn. He could kill the 2/3, which will be kind of bad, but not really, because my Frost Elemental eats it anyway. And he, doesn't necessarily have a ping. And we know that he doesn't have a, what do you call that? Unleash, or he would have used it a couple turns before. So we're in the, we're more aggro than you position. And that's good. Because we are more aggro. And we do have a Starfire, which is 5 more damage. And a ping. So we almost win already. I think we have to start modding. Perseon thinks I should stick to school, which is great, because he thinks I'm young enough to be in school. Oh, it's wonderful. It is wonderful being Asian and not looking old. I'm very old. Now I'm going to not be able to win yet. Can he get lethal? 10, 2, that's 12 points. It would take him a lot to get lethal. So I don't think we need to actually do that. We could put a force tank max out, and then, oh, actually, he could deadly shot it. Imp Master would spread wide. I think Imp Master spreading wide is probably the best idea. It does give him one more out in terms of actually killing us, but we're okay with it.
I am not a morning person.
I'm okay with just getting a lot of things on the board.
For the wild.
Do I want to make anything?
No one.
Does it really matter? I don't think giving any of these an additional defense would even matter. Did I have lethal? Yeah, I had lethal, I guess. I didn't realize I had so much damage. Well, I'll have lethal next turn. Yeah. I did have lethal, because he only has 1 health, and I had a Starfire in my hand. So if I played it, I would have had lethal. Well, this is what happens when you're averaging 3 hours of sleep working on Hearth Arena. Come on. Yeah, he can't even clear the... Oh, I guess I don't have lethal on the board. I would need to have something in my hand. That's cool. I do have something in my hand. And I have another thing. Good game. Good game. It's actually just the most elaborate BM. I had the bad manner to not notice lethal, and therefore make him have hope to play another turn. One more game, and then Sheng is coming in. Hopefully. Sheng, are you in the chat? Are you coming in so I can take my nap / eat my food?
Malfurion versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
I must protect the wild.
Two, 2, 3. That works. That's a pretty good start. Bomb lobber. That works too. We'll get a 4. I like this. I think we'll do fine. $140th already to level 60 for the druid. Oh, that's fine. What I really need is to get my what's my lowest class?
Ready.
Shaman? Maybe it's the shaman. No, I probably played more shaman earlier on when it was still good in the arena. I can't coin out my 2 as I originally planned, or I could just coin out a tap. I guess coin out the 2 because it's tempo. And if he really pings, then he pings. I don't really need the card advantage. This deck is like surprisingly full of card advantage. Probably, if it's not the shaman, it's definitely not warrior. Is it warlock? It could be warlock. Okay, this is great. I'm gonna get a micro machine out. I had the coin, so I don't need to play a Trog. Next turn, I can Claw and Stone Splinter Trog. So he has a 3 mana, which means that Trog could get eaten. And so could... well, he spends 2 and doesn't do anything else with the next mana. This is fine. I drop the Imp Master. Next turn, I can deal 3 damage, or I can deal 2 damage and Trog, or I could deal 1 damage, not use a card in Trog. Hey, Merps is in the house. What's up, Merps? I was reminiscing about how awesome it was that Frostwolf Grunt was one of our best cards in the stats. I could deal 3 damage and kill it, but I'm already spreading wide, so I might as well just keep spreading.
What to do?
Yeah, there's no real point in that. I lose so much tempo, though. I guess the hero power doesn't do anything unless I'm willing to hit into the Yeti, which I'm not. So I'm actually just going to Earthen Ring Farseer, the Imp Master. Then he's just going to trade into the Imp Master, though. Because that's his target anyway. There's no real point in doing that. This is going to be a 4. Which I'm going to Bomb Lob. I guess this is just the best tempo. Kind of sad.
For no one.
But it is what it is.
Let the dark in.
I could Stone Splinter Trog to like hope he doesn't like bait him to use a spell, but what spell is he going to use at 5 mana on this board? Right? Like, is he going to Fireball the 3/3? Nope. He's going to do that. This actually presents a problem. I was unable to trade into the Gurubashi. I can trade into the Chowan Yeti. 3 to the Yeti, attack. None of these options are very good. If I make this into a 4, I could hit into here, hit into there. I guess I set up for it. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he has the one of the cards we moved up a lot, which is Arcane Explosion. Or Blizzard, I guess. Yeah, I'll play into the Arcane Explosion or Blizzard. Because then I could come back with a Bomb Lobber.
Shall I strike? Of course.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't do that. Well, that's fine.
Time waits for no one.
That's fine. I basically lost a 1/1 by miscalculating there.
Special delivery!
Oh, come on. Seriously? Come on. I can't believe that actually hit the right one. Alright, well, let's see if mine hits the right one. Because that's where we're at now. We're at Bomb Lobber trading time. And if it does hit the right one, I could clear his board. And if it doesn't hit the right one, I can't clear the board. I'll just put out a Clockwork Gnome.
Special delivery!
There we go. That hit the right one. I could Clockwork Gnome. Go face. Or I could kill it. It's not all that threatening. Clockwork Gnome, go face. He pings the 2/1. He kills the 1/1. I can always claw the next turn. Yeah, why not? Push for some damage. Oh yeah, if I clawed first, I would have been able to guarantee that it hits the right one. But that's okay. It hit the right one anyway. And this way, I didn't have to play a claw. Does he play it? He does play it. That's interesting that he chose not to ping my guys. So he doesn't seem to care about card advantage. Which is good. Unbound Elemental is just a card. He has 2/2/4. It's kind of annoying because I can't really deal with that very effectively. I could throw them all into one of them and then claw. Or I mean shapeshift. Put out an Ogre, a Stone Splinter Trog. That sets it up. If I Azure Drake right now, it's pretty good. But I'd only clear one thing. Yeah. We'll go with the wider board. Maybe bait out a Flame Strike. I'm confident in the ability for this deck to get card advantage back. We have 2 Starfires. We have this Azure Drake. We have a Cult Master at some point.
They all bend to my command.
I guess we'll see what it hits. This freezing thing never does anything. We freeze the 4/6. Yeah, I guess we have to see what it hits first. This is where we want to hit. Well, now we have to claw. So I guess we Azure Drake now. Or we could freeze it. No, freezing doesn't do anything. It's a little better tempo. But let's get some actual options on the board here. No need to cloak this. 5. I have 2. I'm gonna get 3. Behind on cards. Okay. Alright. I'm not as behind on cards as I was. So he has 4. I'm going to have 3. Oh, look. There's my card back. Well, if I Starfire, which I could, I better be damn sure that it's going to draw me another card. Or else it's not as good as a Frost Elemental. It probably will draw me a card. Right? What are the odds it doesn't? Like, you know, draw me a card I can play. It's probably 50-50 actually. Yeah, let's just go for the easier play. Force him to have something first, and then we'll Starfire, and then we're guaranteed to be able to Cho and Yeti. It's too bad we can't play the Cloak Field. There's the Fireball. That's a Thrallmar Farseer. And that is a Kobold. So I'm liking my card advantage chances here. We could Frost Elemental again. You know, what's he gonna do if we Frost Elemental again? No, he could Flame Strike. But if he's holding on to a Flame Strike, that's really weird. Yeah, let's Starfire. Frost Elemental, it doesn't guarantee the hit because we have he could just trade in to the Frost Elemental. Yeah, I guess I will. I guess I will Starfire. Put out the Yeti. Get my card advantage, see what he has. I don't know if it was correct to play around the Starfire there, but... So he wants to put some damage on us, that's fine. I'm very okay with this. Going to Frost Elemental. Do I Trog and hit? No, there's no need. I'm just gonna Frost Elemental. So you Frost Elemental, the biggest thing. You kill that because that's what's damaging you. And then, well, we already played around the Flame Strike this much. We might as well keep playing around it. Going to Trog. I'm going to Cloak the 5/5. I'm okay with him trading the 2/2 in. Oh, that's right. That has spell damage. I forgot that had spell damage. So that cloaking thing didn't do anything. I could have had an extra cloak. That would have made a difference. 5, 4, 6, 2, 2. I didn't realize the Kobold was a Kobold and it had a spell damage. So, I didn't play around that. Amani, raise it by 2, becomes a 4-5. What are my outs? I've used one. I have another one. Yeah, I guess I need to use it all now.
It's time for a little blow.
Cultmaster will force him to trade in before he eats it. He can ping. Well, he can eat it first and then ping.
Time waits for no one.
I guess I save the Cultmaster. Kind of doesn't do anything. I can play it anytime for the same effect. Yeah, that works. Five, 4, 2. All right. By the way, Sheng, are you here? I need to like see you in the chat or like message me or something. Because after this game, I can't get off unless you're here. This is not good. Well, I guess this has to be done now. Oh, he's at lethal.
Well played.
His Insanity says, "Sorry, man, I'm unfollowing. You've made so many misplays this game, Adwikta." Yeah, that's right. You should unfollow when I make misplays. Okay, Shang, come in after this. Alright, so I'm going to get off the stream now, and then Shang will start the stream up immediately afterwards. I thought the new Hearth Arena worked out well. The deck is a pretty good deck. I made one misplay the last game, but it wouldn't have made a difference. I lost one extra, like, 2-mana card. I like the way the card is set up, though. The deck is set up, though. And Shang is going to come in now. So hold on. It may take him like 5 minutes to come in here, and I'll be back in like 2 or maybe 3 hours for Shang's second run. Maybe we'll finish this run together. But I gotta like go eat, nap, check back in with work. All right, see you guys.